My 50 male and my ex-wife, 45 female, have been divorced for 14 years now. We have one child together, Rain, 18 male, and I've since remarried and have 3 children from my current wife. She's 48 female. The kids are pre-tween, teen male, and my stepdaughter, 19 female. The customary arrangement we've had since Rain's been a teenager is that he spends 3 months at his mother's house and then 3 months at my house and back again. Rain recently turned 18 during the 3-month period that he stays with me, and since then he's had to pay rent and for his own food for the rest of the time he stays here. He wasn't necessarily expecting it, but he wasn't a brat about it. He picked up a job quickly and has paid his first month of rent. No issue there. He's also putting aside money into his college fund so he can attend university next year. No issue there either. But apparently he's not budgeting properly because he's always hungry. He eats all right, but he wastes his money on junk food instead of buying substantial meals. As a result, he goes through periods where he gets borborygmi. Reader's note, a rumbling or gurgling noise made by the movement of fluid and gas in the intestines. It's nothing too loud, but it's noticeable if the room is relatively quiet. Last time I had my sister over, she noticed, and he said he just had a stomach ache. We're expecting company again this week, and I don't want something like that happening again. So I explained to Rain that he can introduce himself to our guest, and then he needs to stay in his room until they leave. Rain got angry and argued he didn't know how long the guest would be staying, and he can't help that he's starving out here. I reminded him that he's not starving, but even if he was, it wasn't my fault. He agreed to the rules when we got here. Rain said he isn't blaming me for it, but he's not following my dumb rules regarding the guest, even if I told him they'd only be here for about an hour. I'm worried that because he's mad now, he's going to act all dramatic about how he doesn't get enough food in front of our guest. And even though it's none of my fault, if that somehow gets to my ex-wife, I don't know what she'll say, and I don't feel like dealing with drama. I also feel like he was trying to emotionally manipulate me with the starving comment. Am I the idiot? Edit. 19-year-old doesn't pay rent. Wife won't allow it. Suddenly charging an 18-year-old rent since his birthday is automatic. You are the idiot. I can understand charging a child rent if they don't seem to have an intention to move out, as opposed to living temporarily with parents to build up savings or job search. But it's not like an 18-year-old is likely to have any other options. This whole story reeks of this child is a remnant of my failed marriage that I would wish out of existence if I could. I'm waiting to see what OP's reaction is when the kid inevitably drops the, I can either be your son or I can be your paying tenant. And if I'm a paying tenant, you have no legal grounds to confine me to my bedroom. If I'm your kid, you wouldn't be charging rent and then yelling at me for a natural bodily function. Pick one. OP, you clearly hate your own kid, so you're only letting him stay because you're desperate for the money he's paying. Good point. Are you charging rent and starving your wife's 19-year-old daughter? Or is it just your son? Oh, wife won't allow it. You have different rules for different kids in the same household? You haven't taught him any of the skills you expect him to use. It's all on you. How do you think that makes him feel about you? When he does get his act together, no thanks to you, I wouldn't expect him to stay in touch with you. This type of parent has always baffled me. My father has always believed that if you choose to have kids, you have to be there for them and help them as much as you can so they can have the best future possible. He wouldn't understand a man letting his son go hungry. This is just disgusting. Take the hint, dude. You are the idiot. One more time to be sure. You are the idiot. Son is working, paying rent, and trying to save for college. You really are doing the bare minimum as a parent. Feed your child. I'm 22 female, a college student, and I currently live with 3 other girls, early to mid-20s. Our place is big, So we often have friends, girls and guys over, and our place is the regular hangout spot. Well, in the summer, a new guy, 21, joined the friend circle, and he's incredibly rude to me. He often jokes that I'm ugly, makes fun of my looks, and calls me a Walmart, some actress whose name I forgot, the last time we met. He only picks on me, even though I've not mistreated him, and before you say it, no, he does not like me. It upset me, but I'm non-confrontational, so I just brushed his comments off. And no one told him to cut it out either. When I voiced my concern to the group, they said that he was obviously not serious. Well, to me, it was serious. As a result, I and the girls started excluding him from everything. A few days ago, I discovered he was adopted as a baby and that his mom is an awful, awful narcissist. That same evening, he knocked on our door and asked to speak with me privately. Naturally, I declined. I told him that he was such an idiot, even his biological parents couldn't stand him. I also added that he clearly took after his mom regarding personality. After this incident, I was labeled an idiot by some people, mostly the guys. Apparently, I went from 0 to 100 with my response, and it was far more savage and toxic than what he had said to me all this time. However, my closest friends backed me up and said my reply was justified. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. People who pick on others can't complain when they get it back. He needed to get a hefty dose of karma. It could teach him to be a better person. I doubt it, though. I also think he needs to learn that just because you had a rough upbringing doesn't excuse your behavior later in life. It's not his fault that his family situation was so bad, but how he treats others at this point in his life is fully on him. I agree, but for the sake of self-preservation, she handled it extremely poorly. She's entirely justified in hating this guy and saying that to him, but you can't realistically expect to say something like that to someone in your wider friend group and not have your mutual friends turn on you. Hearing his apology and trying to move forward is always the smartest thing to do, even if you don't want to accept the apology. I don't think he was there to apologize. He was more likely going to tell her that she was overreacting and that she couldn't take a joke. Also, she's not obligated to accept an apology, public or private. As women, we're practically conditioned from a young age to accept an apology and try to make amends or accommodate a bully to keep the peace. I say screw that. She's entitled to her feelings, no matter what he says. The only real way to apologize is to change your ways and prove you want to make amends. That's the only way to show he recognizes and is working on the issue. Anything less than that is a platitude. We're a one-income family. We have a preteen and a baby. I don't or can't work due to health and chronic pain issues. My husband works full-time, usually 35 to 40 hours a week. When I cook dinner, I make enough, so my husband has leftovers to take to work the next day. He has the habit of eating what's supposed to be his lunch as a large nighttime snack before bed. We have plenty of stuff he can snack on or heat up that's not his lunch for the next day. Then he ends up eating out instead, and he hates fast food, so he spends $20 to $25 on lunch each day. He eats his lunch as a snack. This adds up and makes money tighter for us. I get it's his income, but it's affecting the entire family. I've asked him not to eat his lunch as a snack, but he says he loves my cooking and can't help it, and I should feel complimented. He enjoys it so much. I do appreciate he likes what I cook so much, but I also like knowing our bills will all be paid and we can afford gas and groceries and household supplies and stuff for the kids without being in the red each week. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Having been in this position, the only thing that worked was sitting my husband down and actually showing him the numbers, saying he's eating out 3 times a week. That's $60 to $75 per week, or $240 to $300 per month, $2,880 or $3,600 per year. Girl, that's a family vacation. that he's eating. That's a full month's or more rent or mortgage, simply because he won't save dinner leftovers for lunch and stop eating out. Lay out the actual cost of his snacking and give him a reality shock. It might help put things in perspective for him. We're a one-income family, with my wife being home with the kids. I either take leftovers or I eat PB&Js because the amount of money wasted on takeout lunches daily is absolutely absurd, talking hundreds a month. I don't need to eat sandwiches or leftovers, but I recognize that it would be unfair for the fam and the wife if I was spending hundreds on restaurants for myself. Come up with a solution together. Maybe make more food when you cook and portion out 2 lunches worth for the fridge. If I make more dinner, he'll have 3rd and 4th helpings. I do the grocery shopping and try to get everything I can on a snack list. He will still eat his lunch as a snack. Hubby's a recovering gambling addict and currently owes $100K in back taxes that I'm also trying to budget to pay towards each month. He's currently working in retail, makes around $40K per year. He has a master's in economics and used to make $200K per year, but some bad decisions in life messed that up, and he ended up in legal trouble and can no longer work in his former industry. Wow, you really buried the lead here with the fact that this man owes over $100,000 in back taxes and has a previous gambling addiction. There's absolutely zero reason he should be eating out with that much debt owed. Jesus in a Prius. Also, he should learn some self-control. This grown man needs to learn to restrain his impulsivity and leave his homemade lunch alone. Wait, what? Is OP sure he's not gambling the $20 to $25 a day? He could be buying a coworker's lunch on his card and then pocketing the cash to gamble. That's why he's so hungry. He's not eating any lunch. He's gambling. My 38 female, ex-boyfriend 46, and I have a son, pre-tween together. We were together about 10 years before it ended, around 5 years ago. However, despite him now dating another woman, 27, with whom he has a toddler daughter, he's still the father of my son, and therefore there's no reason why our relationship shouldn't have evolved into one of friendship as a child joins you for life. He's very proud of our son, and a great example is how even though the legally mandated amount of child support would have come out to 6 figures a year, he goes above and beyond that to our son in the form of money and gifts, which is his love language. As one can tell from my previous statement, my ex did very well for himself, and that's where the root of the problem with my husband, 38, comes in. He's commented about how he felt that his family's line of business that my ex inherited and expanded on, they own rehab facilities, was full of body brokers. He fixated on this due to some obscure accusation levied against my ex's brother and associates that was dismissed as sour grapes. My husband also comments about whether my ex's current girlfriend is upset at the gifts my ex sends, when my ex's girlfriend has said there's plenty to go around. His mom has had the gall to say that I should be more appreciative of a man who's not anti-marriage and not a workaholic like my ex is. My ex sends me and my son birthday and holiday gifts. It was my birthday, and I love collecting watches. My ex bought me a gorgeous Tiffany blue and white gold watch that looks like it was crafted by a painter from the Renaissance. I'd be better off wearing a Rolex in terms of not getting robbed, and that ticks my husband off more than anything. My ex got me a watch too, and it was lovely. I know it was a splurge for him, but if we were both removed from the situation, objectively speaking, no one would disagree on which watch exemplified stunning. I wore my husband's gift on our trip to New York last month, but I admit I've been wearing my ex's gift a lot. My husband said nothing, but then he got upset because my ex didn't want my son to go on an upcoming trip to Vermont that he had agreed on previously and do the hay rides and such that my husband planned because he was afraid my son would have ticks climb onto him, so the trip was canceled. My husband finally said he was uncomfortable, always feeling like my ex was in charge of everything. He also said he wished I'd wear his gift less and stop letting his gift collect dust. We got into a fight, and I said the watch was gorgeous and one of a kind. My husband stormed out, and I saw him crying in his car, and when I tried to approach him, he shook his head. I was exasperated after that, and we haven't spoken since. Am I the idiot for having a jewelry preference? So, you want your current husband to become your ex. Got it. You are the idiot. You clearly don't respect him and how he feels. He's already trying to work hard to compete with your ex, which you are allowing, and then to allow your ex to shoot down his plans for BS reasons? You are a massive piece of work. If you have any shred of love and respect towards your husband, you owe him an enormous apology and display and gesture of your love towards him. Obviously, you are the idiot, but please write more about how great your ex is. You have plenty of time to focus on it when you're single again. And I'm sorry you canceled a trip because he was worried your son might get tics. Are you serious? You haven't gotten over your ex, and you will not get over your ex, as he's able to provide a lifestyle that other men can't. Since your focus is so much on material value rather than sentimental value, you will not be able to have a healthy relationship with anyone else. Agree. She doesn't love or respect him, and she should have stayed with her ex if he hadn't traded her in for a younger model. She prefers him but can't have him, and her husband's just better than nothing. Hope you enjoy your material possessions alone, and your husband can find someone who appreciates him. My sister Jess, 36, and her husband Greg, 40s, just got custody of Greg's nephew, Tony, toddler. Greg's sister has issues. She abandoned her kid, and of course there's no father in the picture either. My mom, Tammy, thinks we should throw a baby shower for Tony, who's 3, to welcome him officially into the family. I have 3 kids of my own, and I'm hurt over my mom just accepting this is how it is. Jess and Greg have good jobs that paid for the adoption process and then get more parents' leave than I did for my own children that was either pushed out or cut out of my body. My family acts like I'm in the wrong, that Tony has had a family this whole time, and throwing a baby shower and helping Jess out with her new child is sweet. I don't understand how this is a thing with my mom when she has 5 other grandchildren, and she's all into Tony and feels sorry for him. I don't think Tony will even understand why everyone is getting gifts and cake. It might even confuse him. My mom is like, what baby doesn't want a party? And she said she would do the same thing for my brother and I. I finally get my brother on the phone, who has his 2 children, and he told me I shouldn't even come to the party if I'm going to be a witch, and now my mom agrees with him. They're planning this baby shower in a few weeks, and I'm not invited, nor is my dear husband or my kids. I still think everything's blown out of proportion, and my husband's side of the family agrees and thinks we should host our own party the day of the baby shower to see where everybody's loyalties lie. You are the idiot. Explain to us how throwing a welcome party to embrace a little boy who's dealt with the crap hands in life, starting when he was born, harms you in any way. Go ahead. We'll wait. Anyone with a beating heart would feel sorry for him. Were the other 5 grandkids abandoned by their parents? No? Then be quiet about it. I don't think Tony will even understand why everyone is getting gifts and cake. It might even confuse him. Don't act like you give a crap about this child. Take your fake concern and get lost. The kid who's experiencing cake and gifts and love, all for him, for perhaps the first time in his life, will not be confused. He'll be in heaven. And this, my husband's side of the family agrees and thinks we should host our own party the day of the baby shower to see where everyone's loyalties lie. It sounds like she married into the right family for her. The pettiness and passive aggressiveness is clearly shared. I'm not sure how you wrote all that down without it clicking with you how wrong you are. I'm very sure this poor little boy hasn't replaced you or your children in your mother's affections. She's just trying to welcome the little soul into the family and make him feel like everyone's happy he's here. I really do feel that it's time to apologize to everyone. Try to overcome your resentment of this little child and have some compassion for the very unhappy start he's had. Maybe even start to think about what you could do to ease this transition and contribute to a joyful occasion.